Clarity is the foundation of every great journey. Without it, we're like a ship drifting in the ocean with no compass, constantly tossed around by waves and wind. Many people wake up each day and just move through routines without ever asking themselves, where am I truly going? And that's the real challenge. Because if you don't know where you're going, no amount of effort, no amount of hard work will ever get you to the destination you actually want. Winning in life begins with defining your purpose, that inner direction that pulls you forward even when life gets messy. Now, purpose doesn't always come to us in a dramatic, lightning bolt moment. For most people, it unfolds when they take time to listen deeply to themselves, to reflect on what really matters, and to decide what kind of life they want to live. It could be as simple as wanting to grow into the best version of yourself, to provide for your loved ones, or to create something meaningful that outlasts you. When you have clarity, even the smallest actions start to connect to a bigger picture. Your mornings feel different, your energy feels different, because you're no longer wandering aimlessly. You're building towards something. Clarity also brings focus. Think about how much energy people waste chasing distractions, following paths that aren't really theirs, or saying yes to things they don't truly want. When you're clear, you learn the power of saying no. You stop scattering your energy, and you begin channeling it like a laser. That's when progress accelerates. You may not reach your destination overnight, but you know you're on the right road, and every step feels purposeful. But clarity doesn't mean you'll have everything figured out right now. Life is fluid. What matters is choosing a direction and walking it with intention, adjusting as you grow. Clarity gives you a guiding star, and with that, even in the darkest nights, you won't feel lost. If you want to win in life, don't just move. Know why you're moving, know where you're moving, and let that vision guide everything you do. Because the one who has clarity doesn't just live life, they lead it. Motivation is powerful, but let's be honest, it's unreliable. One day you wake up fired up, ready to conquer everything, and the next day you can't even get yourself out of bed. If your life depends only on motivation, you'll always be at the mercy of your mood. That's why discipline is the true key. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. It's the ability to show up again and again, whether you feel like it or not. And that consistency is what creates lasting change. Think about it this way: motivation is the spark, but discipline is the firewood that keeps the flame alive. Without discipline, the spark fades quickly and you're left in the dark. But with discipline, even on the days when your energy is low or your mind is clouded, you still make progress. It doesn't have to be huge leaps every single day. It's about steady steps. Over time, those steps compound into momentum, and momentum builds into transformation. Discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about being committed to the person you want to become. It's choosing the long-term reward over the short-term comfort. Yes, it's easier to hit the snooze button. It's easier to skip the workout. It's easier to avoid that difficult conversation. But every time you choose ease over discipline, you strengthen the habit of settling. And every time you choose discipline, even in small ways, you strengthen the habit of growth. What most people don't realize is that discipline actually creates freedom. At first it feels like structure, like restriction, but in truth, discipline liberates you from chaos. When you're disciplined with your time, you free yourself from regret. When you're disciplined with your health, you free yourself from fatigue. When you're disciplined with your goals, you free yourself from mediocrity. Discipline is not a prison. It's the path to freedom, because it builds the life you truly want, not the one that circumstances force upon you. If you want to win in life, don't chase fleeting bursts of motivation. Build the discipline to act, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Because motivation may start the journey, but discipline is what finishes it. One of the most life-changing shifts you can make is deciding to take full responsibility for your choices. Too often, People hand over their power by blaming circumstances, pointing fingers at others, or waiting for luck to rescue them. But here's the truth. When you blame, you give away control. When you own your choices, you take the steering wheel of your life back into your own hands. That's where real strength begins. Life isn't always fair, and it's true that we don't choose every situation we face. But what we always choose is how we respond. That response determines whether we stay stuck or move forward. When something doesn't go your way, you can either fall into excuses, or you can ask yourself, what can I do with this? How can I grow from this? The moment you ask those questions, you shift from being a victim of life to being the author of it. Responsibility is not about carrying guilt or shame. It's about stepping into power. It's saying, I may not control everything that happens, but I control what I do next. That mindset changes everything. Suddenly, failures aren't dead ends, they're feedback. Mistakes aren't proof you're weak, they're proof you're learning. Even setbacks become fuel when you claim them as part of your path instead of something done to you. People often wait for external forces to change before they take action. They wait for the economy to improve, for others to treat them better, for the timing to be right. But waiting is just another way of surrendering control. Responsibility means you act now, with what you have, where you are. It means you stop looking outside for the solution and start building it from within. When you choose responsibility, you no longer drift with the current, you start steering your own course. And while it may not always be easy, it will always be worth it, because the life you create will be one that reflects your choices, not your excuses. If you want to win in life, stop waiting for someone else to change it for you. Take responsibility today, and you'll discover you've had the power to shape your destiny all along. Struggle is not something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback carries within it a lesson that shapes who we become. Yet so many people spend their lives running from discomfort, wishing for an easy path, not realizing that it's the very struggles they avoid that would have given them the strength they're searching for. Growth never happens in comfort. Growth happens when you're stretched, when you're tested, when life demands more from you than you thought you had. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. They didn't become strong because life handed them everything on a silver platter. They became strong because they faced difficulty and refused to let it break them. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every setback turned into resilience. Struggles teach us patience, they teach us humility, and they teach us the art of perseverance. Without them, we would remain fragile, untested, and unprepared for the greater battles ahead. When challenges come, your perspective determines your outcome. If you see struggle as a punishment, you'll shrink under its weight. But if you see it as preparation, you'll rise with renewed determination. Every time you push through pain, you expand what you believe is possible for yourself. And once you realize that you can endure more than you ever imagined, life opens up in ways you never thought possible. It's also in struggle that we discover who we truly are. Success can be deceiving. It can make us comfortable and complacent. But struggle strips away the noise and forces us to confront our deepest truths. It asks, how badly do you want it? How committed are you to your vision? And in answering those questions with action, we transform. So instead of resenting the challenges life brings, welcome them as stepping stones. They are not roadblocks in your journey, they are the journey. Every time you rise after falling, every time you choose to keep moving despite the weight, you're not just surviving, you're becoming unstoppable. If you want to win in life, don't run from the struggle. Walk into it with courage, knowing it's carving out the strength you'll need to reach the life you dream of. The greatest battles we face are rarely out in the world. They're inside our own minds. Your thoughts can build you up or break you down. Your emotions can guide you forward or trap you in cycles of doubt and fear. Mastery of mind and emotions isn't about suppressing how you feel or pretending to be positive all the time. It's about creating balance, awareness, and the ability to respond with intention instead of reacting out of impulse. How many times have you seen someone with incredible potential hold themselves back simply because they couldn't control their inner dialogue? They convinced themselves they're not good enough, not ready, not capable. That's not reality, it's the mind unchecked. On the other hand, when you learn to master your thoughts, you recognize that self-doubt is just noise, not truth. You create space between what you feel in the moment and the choices you make. That space is where freedom begins. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you'll never feel anger, sadness, or frustration. Those emotions are human. What it means is you no longer let them dictate your life. You use them as signals instead of shackles. Anger can teach you where your boundaries are. Fear can show you where growth is waiting. Sadness can deepen your empathy. When you're aware, emotions become tools for growth rather than obstacles. This kind of mastery requires daily practice. It might mean pausing before reacting, breathing when you feel triggered, or questioning whether the thought in your head is really serving you. Over time, these practices build resilience. You stop being thrown off course by every storm and instead stand rooted, steady, and clear. When your mind and emotions are in harmony, you gain focus. You waste less energy fighting battles within yourself, and more energy moves toward building the life you want. You stop being at the mercy of circumstances and start becoming the leader of your inner world. And once you lead within, it becomes natural to lead without. If you want to win in life, master your mind and emotions, because the one who rules within will never be conquered by what's outside. The measure of a truly successful life isn't found in what you gain for yourself, but in what you give beyond yourself. You can achieve wealth, recognition, and personal milestones, but if it ends there, something will always feel incomplete. Real fulfillment comes when your growth and success extend outward, when they touch the lives of others in meaningful ways. Contribution is the bridge between achievement and significance. It's what transforms winning into lasting impact. When you give, it doesn't always have to be grand gestures. It could be as simple as sharing your time, lending a listening ear, offering encouragement, or using your skills to make someone else's path a little lighter. Small acts ripple out further than you can imagine. The words you speak today could inspire someone years from now. The kindness you show in a moment could be the exact spark that shifts another person's entire outlook on life. What's powerful about contribution is that it not only uplifts others, it strengthens you. When you serve beyond yourself, you discover a deeper sense of purpose. You realize that your struggles weren't just for you. They gave you wisdom that can now guide someone else. Your victories weren't just for your own pride. They became proof to others that it's possible. Life takes on richer meaning when you see that you are part of something greater than your own story. Some people fear giving because they think it will leave them with less. But the opposite is true. Contribution expands you. It opens your heart, it deepens your connections, and it aligns you with values that outlast material success. The more you give, the more abundant your life becomes. Not always in things, but in joy, in peace, in the quiet knowing that you mattered. And in the end, when people remember you, it won't be the titles you held or the possessions you owned. They will remember how you made them feel, how you lifted them, how you inspired them. That is the legacy of contribution. If you want to win in life, don't just climb the mountain for yourself. Extend a hand so others can rise with you.